Okay, and on with day 22. I think I changed the menu. Yep, the menu's good. I spent all the money, no extra events, so it's just going to be a relatively standard day. And I can't remember if it's going to rain or not. I think there was an email about bad weather, but I could just be misremembering. Oh, it's a female alcoholic at 9:30 in the morning this time. The big brown fish. At $12 a pop. I'll sell as many of those as I can. Yeah, I was right, it was going to rain. My memory's not as bad as I think it is. Well, as this is just a standard day, you've seen all the food that comes up so far. Pepperoni, sausage and bacon. What shall I chunter on about in the and annoy you and bore you with this time? Yeah, I know, I'll go with books. Because I love reading and I like books. So, depending on the type of reading you like, here's some thoughts for things to read. If you like great crime novel type drama, sort of thrillers I guess they're called, read John Sandford novels, especially the Prey series. So they go back a few years now, but they're still coming out about once every 6 months or once every year or so, and I really need to get a move on them before I start failing. Unload the food, and there's a Virgil Flowers series, which is one of spin-off characters in the same environment as the Prey series, which is also very good. And generally, I recommend reading John Sandford novels because they're very good. There's been the occasional one that's been a bit iffy, and some of the plots and characters can get a bit old over time, but as a current author, that's probably one of the better ones. On top of that, what else is there? Stephen Leather, British author. Well, technically I guess he lives in Ireland these days, so I don't know if he's actually Irish or if he's actually British. So I know he lived in Thailand at one point. But either way, he writes some very good light thrillers. I don't know if you've ever heard of an author named Jack Higgins, but it's kind of the same type of writing level as Jack Higgins. So he gets a bit preachy occasionally with one of his characters who doesn't like doing nasty things, even though he's the hero of the thriller and he's meant to do the nasty things. But he's a good author, and his early books, his individual one-off books, were at the time very good. I believe one's even been made into a film, or has been made into a film in the last year. The book was called The Chinaman. So about a Chinese guy, I think it was Chinese or Vietnamese, whose family get caught up in an IRA bomb, and he then takes revenge on them because he couldn't get any justice. It was just a reasonably nice, light read of a book. He's done a few like that. On the non-fiction side, I tend to like... sorry, I forgot what the button for onions and peppers were there, wasn't it? Well, I tend to like a lot of things, but one of the things I've tended to read recently are NFL biographies or behind-the-scenes stuff. There was the Walter Payton biography done by the same guy that did Boys Will Be Boys, about the 1980s/90s Cowboys dynasty, and when Jimmy Johnson was their coach. And it's the same guy, I think it's the same guy that did the recent Brett Favre novel, or Brett Favre, not novel, biography. I think it was called Gunslinger. But that was very good. On top of that, there was the latest Bill Parcells biography, which was interesting. Yeah, so certainly gave you an insight into a man and the way he thinks, which I wasn't aware of. On top of that, there's the books Patriot Reign and War Room, about behind the scenes into how the Patriots operate and how and the backroom staff they had at the start of their dynasty, and how they basically kept everything together and managed to build stuff without it all falling apart, which it seems to do with most teams when they start dynasties. There were no egos and problems behind the scenes. Well, not many anyway, but it was just an interesting read. So they're fun. Yeah, so if you like I do, simple, sort of cheerful fiction. I do still love. It was written by Sapir and Murphy originally. The Destroyer series, of which there were, I can't remember, about 120 of them. So most of which aren't available electronically, but you can find them in second-hand bookshops if you can find a second-hand bookshop. So you could probably find a load of them on Amazon. But they're a fun little read. So there's 101 things on Kindles on the Amazon store which you can buy and read for sort of either free or $1. So some of which is good, some of which is complete and utter rubbish, and it's kind of, for that price, it's kind of pot luck. Or if you sign up for their Kindle Unlimited thing, which I haven't, but so it probably would have behooved me to actually do that, the amount I read. But anyway, so just try getting a load of cheap books off Amazon, and if you strike lucky with one author out of 10, that's a pretty good strike rate of finding a good author. It's my normal all-time favourites are people like Frederick Forsyth, who's written some really excellent novels in the years. He's written some average ones as well, but he's written some really excellent ones. I just wish he was more prolific. There was an ice cream upfade available, 20 perfect orders, but I've got to have soup on the menu, which I don't have, so I can't take that bet. There's a catering job available, so I might go do that. Carry-out service. Okay, I'll go have a look at that. Another perfect day. And more spam. Animal to avoid today, Roadrunner. Really? Don't think I've ever seen one of those apart from on a cartoon, so should be able to avoid that. And I don't have the third food required to do that bet either. It's not unusual for me not to do most of these bets. They're extra money if you want to do them, but I tend not to. No menu rot. Okay, so I was going to check out the equipment of the carry-out service. To go, 1800. I couldn't afford it anyway. So listed on there, you'll add 2.5. Okay, so if there were every food that qualifies as carry-out, you'd get a 2.5% bonus for. So theoretically, with 6 foods on the menu, that would be what, 15%? I think I'm doing the right math. Yeah, that's 15% more buzz if you had 6 foods that were carry-outs. That's the one I really want. It's this daily special. That way you can direct what most of the food you sell is. And I was going to go look at the extra event. And the extra event is fried food fun. You need to make French fries and that Mexican snack food that I can't pronounce. Yeah, I'm not even going to try because I'd butcher it and probably somebody would get really upset with me, and there's enough people in the world that get upset with me. So how much does that cost? 500. Let's purchase it. There's the main menu. So this will be one with day 22, day 23, and a catering event. Alright, fried food fun. Here we go. Our sales of P900 white cardstock is flying like crazy. Can cardstock fly? Flying off the shelves, yes, is a phrase. Is flying like crazy. Unless it's suddenly developed wings and an engine, I think it's going to have a bit of trouble flying. I thought I'd give the office a little fried fiesta of sorts. Just make sure we get at least 18 people served and no more than 3 bad orders, and I'll pay $25 a plate. Let's party! Okay, so just fried food. I'm going to do 18 of them without screwing up 3 times or more. Okay, I'll give it a shot. And that's a Mexican snack food. It's just got sugar on it, basically. Or no sugar in this case. It's one or the other. Done 4 so far. Oops, that's sugar on it. And if you happen to notice the little number in purple on the right of the card, oops, and I just messed that up. It says I've done 1,211 orders so far, which not bad. And just over a minute to go. Yeah, the only way you can really mess up fried food is get the topping wrong or leave the keep that fryer in there too long and burn the food, which is what I've done with hash browns. But you know, it's just so place it, hit the right topping, and what I've done 18. Yeah, done 20 and 17 seconds to go. I don't think I'm going to have time for this one. Oh, we might just get that one in. There you go. Pay $600 for the 24 people I served. So that's always good. That's the second one of those done. The main menu and the checklist. Now completed the 2 catering services, 2 out of 2. So it only now requires the safety inspections, which I have no control when they start. They're every 5 days, I believe. So there should be one tomorrow, and just the number of days of service. The random bit I already checked, can't do that one. The active menu is still good. Yep. So day 23. So I was going on about books earlier, and I can't remember what I got to. Frederick Forsyth was the last one I mentioned. I'm trying to think of any other authors which have hit my fancy recently. Grisham was good for a while. Problem is, if you're waiting for a modern author, they're never as prolific as you'd like them to be. So things like Sanford, you may get one or 2 books a year. There's a sci-fi series I like by a guy named Thomas DePrima. And he was trying to do 4 books a year because they're not some John Sandford, Frederick Forsyth style novels. But they were fun, entertaining reads. I think he's going to try and cut down to 3 a year because he has struggled. If he tries 4 a year, he misses deadlines. Problem is, once you start reading them, any kind of authors' books, if you like them, you tend to read everything they've got, and then you sat there go, well, why hasn't he written more? And there's plenty of reasons why he hasn't written more, but they don't necessarily make you happy. The fact that you can't get any more. So it's one of the reasons I tend to try and find authors that have been prolific and hopefully that I'm going to enjoy, and they have a large back catalogue, so if I like their books, I can read a lot of them. Doesn't necessarily always work out that way, but and there's a lot of authors who I can think of, yes, the book here and there, but I couldn't actually name the author off the top of my head, purely because the book was okay, and maybe even the follow-up books were okay, but none of them were, use it as a standard, Frederick Forsyth standard, because that man wrote brilliant novels at times. As I said, he wrote a couple of average ones, but as for the most part, his novels were so well researched and so detailed, you could actually sort of see and understand and think, yeah, this could actually have happened this way. He was just that good. And I'm not saying that other novels aren't good, but he was just far better than most writers. And kind of, novels are not the same as films, I guess. That doesn't spoil it. If you've read a really good book, you won't go back to an average one. Whereas if you watch a really good film, so the next film you watch is going to really suffer by comparison. But you do tend to notice the difference having read a really good novel. This is another author I just thought of, David Gemmell. He's actually now died, unfortunately, but he wrote some really good novels. So he wrote some really average novels that I don't care for, as well as some that I just thought were bad. But his last series before he died, the third book I think was finished by his wife, because he died when it was almost complete. He so it was about the siege of Troy and what led up to, leading up to the siege of Troy and the aftermath of the siege of Troy, well, the immediate aftermath anyway. And they were a very good trilogy. And so some of his other novels, sort of a lot of swords and bits of sorcery, etc. in them, but brilliant novels. There again, I like sort of Odysseus, sort of the, what's it called, the Iliad. Oh crap, wrong book, wrong button. Oh well, didn't get a perfect day this time. The whole siege of Troy, the Greeks fighting amongst themselves, and the reason behind the petty kings, Agamemnon, Priam, Nestor, and there's a whole bunch of them whose names I can't think of off the top of my head, because amazingly, when you have a passing thought and you try and then enunciate said thought, it's amazing what you can't remember as you need to. But anyway, so the David Gemmell novels, well worth a read. I mentioned one guy a few videos back, Simon R. Green and the Deathstalker novels, and the associated worlds. It's a lot of depends what you like, and subject matter, etc. But there's some subjects, if you've got a vague liking of the subject, some authors in that area stand out above others. Simon R. Green stood out for me in his genres. David Gemmell, Stephen Leather, John Sanford. So for a while, I was a big fan of Terry Pratchett novels, but they got to be too much the same after a while. But initially, they were hilarious. Then, as I say, they became too much the same to me and too predictable. But his version of the character Death, who rides on his white horse Binky, because he tried a skeletal horse and it kept falling apart, his bones kept dropping off. And Death likes a good curry. It was a characterization of Death, the type like of which I'd never encountered before and probably never will again. Terry Pratchett had a weird sense of humour, but it was frequently hilarious. And the book he did with Neil Gaiman, what was it called? Good Omen, Bad Omen. One of the funniest novels I think I've ever read. It's just, I really can't explain it. It's go look up Good Omen, Bad Omen, on the internet or on Amazon, and read the book description. And it's worth reading, Yes, even if you read it once and if you don't particularly like it, it puts different ways of thinking in your head, if nothing else, and it's funny while it does it. At least it's funny to me, and so most of the people that, so I consider friends, most have read it and they all liked it. So it's worth a shot. Anyway, that was the end of day 23, a non-perfect day. 1400. Baked potato upgrade is now available. Someone lost 100 day. No, someone gave me basically $100 for whatever reason. Ooh, that's the wrong one. Should be that one. No, more bad weather. Where is this tower located? Seattle? Menu rot. Oh, good. One of the 2 safety inspections required. Somebody stock picks. By Idjin. Shares today at 33 today. Release of the new album Confetti Blaster should spur sales in the polka genre. Yeah, sell Vinny shares down 9 points. The revelation that the CEO was a teacup poodle has certainly brought morale down 11%. What the heck is a teacup poodle? That's just, yeah, okay. Don't know what that is, but that's weird. Meditation vanilla. Empty your mind. Empty your mind. There should be a space there, or preferably a comma and a space. Feel the wonderful scent of vanilla overwhelm your senses. Comma, space. Now breathe in and relax. Now breathe in and out. Over and over. 20 times or until you feel your body relax. And clench your muscles. Vanilla, vanilla, vanilla. It's either Jeans, Johns, or John, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Meditation exercises. Extension 10,000. And yeah, they need to learn the use of a comma and a space. Again, it's almost the end of this video, so I'm not going to go off on a grammar rant, but that just annoys me. And I can't upgrade any specialty foods. 1500. Yeah, we'll keep that for the moment. If you buy foods, I might. What's the baked potato like? I know it's upgradable, but well, I'll give it a quick try out. It's been a while since I've done a baked potato. Okay, so immediately it starts cooking slowly. Then cheese, sour cream, butter, chives, bacon. Oh, and over onions on this one. God. Yeah, it's got a few ingredients. I'll give it that. And butter is Y, chives is H, and B is bacon. Yeah, if I'd probably need practice at that, but it's doable. I'll just do one more practice and then call it quits for this video or this recording. Just butter, seriously? Okay. Well, I might add that to the menu next time, or I might save the money and do an upgrade, and or I might do something else for the money, like buy a cooker and try cooking soup for the first time in I don't know how many years. Yes, it wasn't fun, but I guess I should show all the possibles. So when wine is very expensive, so how much is steak? Yeah, I might be able to get steak. A steak's not a bad one to do. Anyway, that finishes for this one, and maybe I'll see you next time. Maybe I won't. Have fun. Bye.